library system, and he's going to talk with us about ChatGPT today. But so welcome him, yay! Thank you for coming, yay!
All right, let me just get my slides set up. In the meantime, my name is Tex Kane. I started at UPenn a year and 3 months and 2 days ago, and almost 3 hours. Not that I'm counting, but basically, I manage one of the libraries at Penn Libraries. So we have about 22 libraries, and I'm one of them. And of the 22 libraries, mine is special because mine has a makerspace. The idea is that because on campus there's about 5 or 6 makerspaces, but unfortunately they're all quite limited to that department. So engineering has one, architecture has one, arts has one. But you're limited in the sense that when you take that course of that year, you're allowed access to the makerspace. But let's say you moved on, you're taking some higher level courses that don't require the use of a 3D printer. Then unfortunately you might be limited in the use of that space because other people have classes in that space and whatnot. So in that sense, we wanted to kind of provide accessibility, and libraries are all about accessibility. So that allows us to give access to 3D printers, laser cutters, digital embroidery machines, and all kinds of fun tools where we can use, to example, if you have an MRI scan of your brain, we could 3D print it, and you have a little tiny brain of yourself, and you can talk to it like, why did you do your homework, like, what's wrong with you? Or, Mr. Communications, yes, so I'm going to toss you this. Sorry. That is a silicon mold, so you have a stress ball of your brain. So these are the fun things you could do, because at my library or at my makerspace, you're allowed 50 free 3D printing hours per semester. So if you have a 3D scan you'd like, or if you have an MRI brain scan, you can convert it to a 3D file and print out your brain. We also have glow-in-the-dark filament for those people who wanted like a nighttime thing. So that's my short spiel of what we do at Education Commons. Not now. And I'm here today to talk about AI, more specifically ChatGPT's AI. So right now there's a bunch of AI systems and it's been constantly in development, and it's beyond the point where I can't be known as a specialized person of AI. It's just too broad. But I did some research. I totally did not make these slides yesterday. And I got a general sense of what this could be and how you can, in context, implement it. So, ChatGPT is created by a company called OpenAI. And if you go to online to OpenAI, these are the 3 options they have.
So go ahead and open up, if I asked you all to get an account, so is it okay for them?
Oh, yes.
Do you mind if I interrupted, like not too rudely?
Yeah. Also, since we have 2 actual professionals in the field, feel free to interrupt me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure I'm the least educated person in this room with a bachelor's only. So I may be wrong. Please interrupt me if you need to. So OpenAI was invented in 2015, so it's been quite a bit of time. But during that time, they've been developing, constantly evolving, and really making their hardware more usable. So let's see. And I asked ChatGPT, hey, who is OpenAI? Who is your daddy? It gives you a small explanation of its artificial intelligence. It's open because they want to be, not just convoluted and hidden in the science. They want to share this technology and allow everyone to have access to it.
Oh, I don't think their model's open anymore.
Not anymore. So it's a bit, it's how they started, but then they found some hindrances and blocks, like, how we can potentially destroy the world. So they had to close down the system a little bit, because, World War III isn't fun. So in addition, more importantly, and I think it pertains to your field especially, is that OpenAI is committed to promoting the safe and responsible development of deployment of AI technologies. So what that means is that we need to train AI ethics. And ethics is probably something you are familiar with, I hope so. So if you don't train AI in ethics, for example, on Twitter's Microsoft AI chatbot, it promotes not very kind things about like Nazis, about homophobia, and it only took 24 hours because it's compiling the input data from random users who are usually trolls or have not as important things to do in life. So that happens to result in, let's say, poop data in, poop data out, in this case. So we need to train the AI not just to pertain the AI and summarize it. It has to be ethical, it has to be efficient. Other things like medical ChatGPT, this was actually happened last month or so, or in March. And this shows that, hey, it's an active technology, it's being used, implemented, but still has some issues. So don't rely on AI as of now. It's not a complete foolproof thing. For the history of ChatGPT, it was invented in 2015, and then GPT-1 came out in 2018. It was trained on Book Corpus, which is an online resource by Stanford and MIT. It has 7,000 unpublished books from the internet, like sci-fi books, fan fiction, all kinds of fun stuff. And then it pertains to about 627 million words. As doctors, you probably will read more than this, so you're smarter than GPT-1. 1 year later, GPT-2. Now it's trained on 8 million web pages and about 1.5 billion parameters. The parameters term, hold on to that, I'll explain in a bit. GPT-3 is 570 gigabytes of text data. That's about the equivalent of half a brain of data, I think. And 175 billion parameters, so it's increasing more than 100 from GPT-2 to GPT-3 in terms of parameters. And then it uses supercomputer and they train for 300 years in parallel with the 5th best supercomputer invented by Microsoft. And this is actually where Microsoft and GPT go together. This is where they form an alliance, and that's why Microsoft Bing has ChatGPT while Google has to use something called Bard. So affiliations. November 2022, ChatGPT 3.5 release. So this is where the term GPT-3 is changed to ChatGPT 3.5 because ChatGPT is an interface for chatting. Previously, it was just an API. It's a program. You could download it, you can utilize it. But ChatGPT is where we normal people can interact, able to converse, understand context, and communicate in text form using that program's data. But it was only trained until September 2021. So the ChatGPT right now, what we have free access to, is only pertaining to data before this time. So anything new that happened, let's say, for example, there was initially when we asked questions like, who's the current president? It'll give you Trump. So that's kind of like the development issue, yes.
But its strength is not identifying, like I put in that initial slide,
right.
Facts. Its strength is understanding context and understanding language, but not, like if you want to look up a fact, it's not the place to do it.
Right.
So it doesn't matter that much for understanding context of language that it was only trained on data up to 2021.
Right. So that reflects in its accuracy, actually. I didn't put it, but it's about 76% accurate, which again, not a great number if you're trying to save a life. Now, only a couple months back, March 2023, ChatGPT 4 is released. So now we're getting somewhere. It's 90% accurate. It is a paid service, but it can do additional things like 100 trillion parameters, which is about like 500 times more stronger than ChatGPT 3. It has more memory, which means that you can feed it more memory. It'll memorize what you read and deliver a prompt, a response in context of what you wrote. It can analyze graphics and images. So if you feed it graphs, like images, it will understand what this bar means and why this has more than this. And then it'll generate a response in that context. It's also multilingual. Before, it was only trained in the English language. Now it's multilingual, I think 8 or 9 different languages. And lastly, if not more importantly, it's connected to the internet. So this is another whole AI ethics issue that if we generate something with AI, and it could be true or false, it's 90% true, let's say, and it's in the internet now, then will it feed upon its own data and make a loop of feeding on AI data over and over again? Then we're kind of in trouble, and this is apparently an ongoing issue that we're really concerned about. There is from OpenAI, there's another program they released. It was to detect if a text prompt was generated by its own program. So a lot of professors used it to see if students are cheating. Turns out it's about 20% accurate, and now OpenAI discontinued it 2 weeks ago. So again, this is an ongoing problem. Hopefully we don't have to take care of it, and smarter people than us will take care of it for us, but in the meantime, we're stuck with it. So I talked about GPT, about the program, and then how it has an interface you can chat with. But what is GPT? So also, is this gonna be on the test or quiz or no?
Would you like to be?
No, right?
No,
So-
there's no quiz. There's no like, yeah.
Okay,
There's not a quiz or a like assessment from today. I'm just hoping this will be useful to you and interesting, and generate further discussion.
Right. So relax. Goes through 1 year, comes out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain what GPT here means. GPT, generative, creates output because it's generating. It's not like Google search where it's searching for something. It's creating an output using an AI machine learning process with a neural network to create large language models. And it uses a term called parameters, where we got 1.5 billion or something before. And parameters are relationships, so it assigns context and connections between words and text. So first off, a neural network. A simple neural network is kind of thing on the right. So it's based on the human brain. A neuron fires, it gets connected to 1,000 things all at once, and then it gets connected to another 1,000 things, and then blah, 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 and then it turns out you like cheese. So it's a thought of, this smells good. What is it? It's cheese. I like it. I'm going to eat it. So it's kind of like how this process works. And despite its ability to perform really good results, accurate results, it's kind of internally difficult to understand, because in the middle is a hidden layer. And in this case, it's very simple. There's only one hidden layer. But in use cases of, let's say, other examples, it could be 2 all the way to 1,000. So it's where that black box comes in. It's really hard to figure out what's happening. So, and ultimately, using this neural network, it's going to create something called parameters. So it's defining a value, a numbered value to each word in the whole world. And every time you put in a prompt in ChatGPT, it goes through all the billions, not trillions of parameters to get you a result, every single word. So it's doing that, which is why it costs 0.5 million US dollars per day to operate it. And ChatGPT is, has a lot of money. Yes?
Does the neural network get more complex and more layered as GPT evolves, or as this technology evolves?
Yes and no. Right now, it doesn't in real time, because again, it's a pre-trained thing. So it's not training on itself, it's pre-trained on data. So it can't do it in real time, but right now, because OpenAI is currently developing more and more, it is training on a closed system, and then they'll release an update in the future. So not the one we use, but in the future it'll keep training itself.